to welcome you all to Google first and foremost. So welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed some drinks, some food. I know it was a little squishy out there, but hopefully everyone had a good time. As Dee mentioned, my name is Aisha Taylor. I'm the Strategic Partnerships and Program Lead here at Google. And I lead an initiative called the Google Digital Coaches Program. That program is really focused on equipping and empowering women and minority-owned businesses. You guys are the fastest growing segment of business starters and owners. And it's not by coincidence that today is also the Women's March. And so some of you may have been out there on the streets. Congrats to you. Clap, yes, clap to everyone there. I know many of you were already here, already in heels, but nonetheless, this is a day of empowering you and just really recognizing what it takes to start a business, to grow a business, to really be kicking down walls in heels. And so we're just so excited to bring you into Google and to equip you. And so today, I have the pleasure of introducing Angelina Darrisaw, who's going to take you through what we call like a mini workshop. So we host free workshops for women and minority-owned businesses, really to teach you about Google's digital marketing products, specifically AdWords, Google Analytics, Google My Business. And today we're going to talk through AdWords because it's our most popular product for businesses scaling, but a lot of women and minority-owned businesses haven't heard of it. They feel like it's confusing. So we're going to get tactical. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We want you to leave here with your next step in this business to grow your business. There are CEOs in this room. There are people who I think are going to be kind of on the next frontier of the beauty industry. So again, welcome to Google, and welcome to our distinguished guests and panelists and speakers and sponsors. We're so thrilled to be partnering with you on that. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Angelina Darrisaw. I have the pleasure of working with Angelina. She is an incredible entrepreneur, a powerhouse in and of herself, and is definitely kicking down walls and heels. As part of this program, we've actually brought on local entrepreneurs and small business owners who have had success in digital and are now taking the next step to empower their peers. And so Angelina is going to host the workshop. She is the CEO of C-Suite Coach. She'll tell you maybe a little bit more about that. Speaks all over, has just been featured in a few news outlets about what you can do to achieve your goals in 2018. So if you could give a round of applause to Angelina as she comes up. Oh, your mic.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Saturday to get excited about growing your business. And as Aisha mentioned, I'm Angelina Darrisaw, and I'm the founder of C-Suite Coach. And C-Suite Coach is a career coaching platform where I essentially work with companies and organizations on strategies for diversity and inclusion of their diverse millennial talent. So I'm really passionate about access. I'm really passionate about groups that don't typically get access to certain resources getting it. And that's part of why I decided to join this program, which is a very different audience than I typically work with. I'm typically working with working professionals. So working with small business owners is different, but what drew me in was the idea of bringing more access and bringing resources to small business owners that don't typically get access to this. And what I think is really important is that I'm also a small business owner. I resigned from my full-time job in 2015, so almost 3 years in. I'm approaching 3 years. It is tough, it is hard, there's a million things going on in my mind every day, and one of the top key things that I think about always is how do I get more customers to my business. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'll throw this up at the end, but you'll have access to, if you want to email me, get on the list and come to more office hours and get some hands-on help with some other Googlers. They're also in the room. Come to office hours and help to make sure that you get your ad on smoothly. So the reason why this program exists is because of this theme. Technology is a democratizing force. So Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google, someone that I'm growing to really like the work that he does, as I've been able to partner with Google and see firsthand how they support small business owners. And the idea is the mission of Google is to make information universally accessible. So what can happen is everyone can become an expert at something. Everyone can find information on there. But when people don't have access to the same amount of information, or they don't have access to using tools the same way, a gap that really could be closing ends up becoming a bigger one. So that's why we think it's important for small business owners to get on this wavelength of learning how to use AdWords. We talked about the great growth in diverse business owners. African American businesses are growing at a great rate, 36.8%. Same when we look at Latinx business owners and women business owners as well. However, Google, being a company that is all about data and collecting data, did some research and found out that diverse small business owners were not leveraging these tools in the same way as legacy white-owned businesses, right? And when they asked them why, 65% said, it's too hard, I don't know how to do it, it's complicated. And so how many times have you downloaded a new app on your phone and you couldn't figure it out in the first few screens? How often do you come back to it? Never, right? Like, it goes in that secret folder on that last screen that we never go to. But I'm going to challenge you today because, yes, some of these tools can seem complicated. How many of you, first of all, are small business owners or have a blog? Or okay, the majority. How many of you have a website? Okay, also the majority, yes. So I'm going to challenge you today because you want new traffic to your website. And so if you have a website, hopefully you have analytics. How many have analytics? Okay, smaller numbers than I saw that has websites. Analytics is free, and I'll tell you something about that in just a few minutes. How many of you check your analytics? Okay, great. So for those of you that check your analytics, you might have noticed that the interface changed recently. It was updated. Everyone else, great. Now you can just learn the new one. You don't have to even worry about the old one, so that's great. But it's important, and I'm going to challenge you that if you have a website, you want to get new customers to your website. Not being online in this day and age is really a large missed opportunity, right? So 89% of your future customers are coming to a search engine like Google before they find out about your product, before they find out about your blog. Maybe they're looking for a blog just like the one that you created, and they don't know that it exists. But if you are online and you're leveraging tools like AdWords, you're able to bring new customers to your space. So that's something that's really important to think about. It also is a way to increase credibility with your customers, and part of this program is really just helping diverse small business owners do that. So now we're going to get to the good stuff and talk about why online marketing. So we use this phrase here that we don't just go online anymore, we live online. So how many of you sleep in the bed with your phone? Okay, stop doing that. You need a mental break.
That is my mental break.
You probably take your phone to the bathroom too. See, I'm gonna hand out hand sanitizer after this.
I can't concentrate without it.
Yes, that's how we are. We're connected. Our phones are in our hands. We're checking our phones 150 times a day. So whatever you're doing in your phone, just imagine that your future customer is doing the same thing. If they want to find out about your latest lipstick, they're probably in the bathroom doing their makeup, and then that's when they're researching it, right? So if you're not online, you're really missing that customer. We're a very connected audience right now. 80% of customers are using a search engine when they're looking especially for local businesses. So are any of you local? Do you do your makeup local? If you're a makeup artist or a hairstylist, you don't necessarily care about the audience that's looking for you in California, but you really want to show up for that audience in Manhattan or Brooklyn or wherever you're based. So that's really important too when you're thinking about making sure you're showing up for a very hyper-local audience. So it's also important to just think this other thing I want to leave you with is you're dealing with a highly motivated customer. So the person that's coming to Google when they're doing a search, they want to take action, right? They're coming there not because they're just trying to figure out, maybe they're scrolling through Facebook. You know how you scroll through Facebook, your baby pictures, and then ads pop up, and it might not have anything that's relevant to what they were doing. When they're coming to Google, they are searching for what they want, and they have intent. So they want to visit, for instance, 76% of people want to visit a nearby business within a day. So you really want to make sure that you're leveraging Google tools because you're dealing with a highly motivated customer. So when we think about what it means to be online, there's lots of different places to play and lots of different places to be. Part of it is your advertising initiatives. Part of it might be creating content, so your blog, your website, maybe your video channel, whatever the case might be, but showing up that way. Part of it is your social media strategy. A big part of it is your website. Glad to hear that most of you have a website. For the ones that don't, definitely want to think about investing in a website so people can have a go-to source where they can learn more about your business and exactly what it is you provide. So being on the internet is a combination of strategies, but what it all boils down to is what?
Content.
Profit, money for your business. So you want to make sure that you're doing this with a strategy, and that strategy should hopefully guide you and lead you to get more dollars for your business. So it starts with a well-designed website. We're not going to have really any time to talk about this today, but it also is search engine optimization. Anyone heard of that term before?
SEO.
Okay, great. SEO. That's how you show up in what we call organic search results. So when people are searching for your business, you want to make sure you're showing up earlier at the top of the search results. And then the other part, which we will have just a few minutes to talk about today, is pay-per-click advertising. So if any of you have heard of AdWords Express or AdWords, okay, AdWords. So AdWords or AdWords Express is a way for you to show up on the top of those search results, even if you don't have the expansive budget to maybe hire or outsource an SEO specialist. You can still show up. There's lots of cool things that you can do with it too, especially if you're looking to attract a local audience. There's lots that you can do in there. And then you can also be thinking about email marketing. CRM is still a very effective tool, as well as video marketing. But at the end of the day, in any of those spaces, what I want you to be thinking about is how important it is to plan your strategy. So sometimes we are thinking about, okay, what it means to be online. I have to like post on LinkedIn 5 times a day, tweet 18 times a day, and then have this many Instagram photos, and that's going to give me growth. But really what it is doing some pre-work and thinking about your strategy in really being more strategic about the tactics you're going to take, right? So you want to plan it. One thing that hopefully you've seen outside, and you all can pick one of these up, is a workbook. You can do some of this work after the workshop, maybe on your Sunday, maybe sometime next Saturday when you're planning, but there are some activities in there that will take you through how you can be thinking about your digital marketing strategy. But I'll give you just a few quick pointers. So one is you want to identify your perfect customer. Now, when I say your perfect customer, you might be thinking, well, anyone who wants to pay me is my perfect customer. And I'm going to tell you why that's wrong. It's wrong. It's not. Anyone who wants to pay you is not your perfect customer. Your perfect customer is the customer that really fits with whatever makes your business different, right? Whatever sets you apart. Because that perfect customer, if you have an organic product, if you're using special ingredients, if you only cater to curls, whatever the case might be, they really get what it is that you do. They're not going to be hassling you over your prices. They are so happy with what you provide that they're like sending referrals, and they're like, you got to check this, you got to check Selfie Cosmetics out because she really has the brush system. I don't know, I just learned about her products. I'm using that as an example. So you want to make sure that you're working with your perfect customer and that you've done some research and really try to hone in on who it is you're trying to attract. This is going to be really important because once you've identified who your perfect customer is, then when you're thinking about how to advertise to them, how to market to them, how to reach out to them, you're going to know what language to use because you know the identity of that person. Then you want to do some research into what you provide and what differentiates you, right? So you can do 2 things. Think about why your customer would choose you over someone else. In this day and age, almost every space is crowded, right? There's thousands of businesses and almost everything. So you starting a business, you can still thrive. You just have to understand really clearly what separates me apart. Is it my customer service? Is it the ingredients I use in my product? Is it that I can come to your house in an hour for your makeup, wherever you are in Manhattan? I figured it out. Whatever it is, find out why your customers are choosing you and what makes you unique. Get really good at that pitch of articulating your unique selling proposition. That's really important. SMART goals. Anyone heard of SMART goals?
Of course.
Okay, good. Yes, of course. I like hearing that. I'm a coach. I'm trained as a coach. I got my certificate at NYU, and I've been coaching for 3 years, working professionals and business owners. And SMART goals, I will tell you, any good coach will say it's like the gold standard. And what it basically is one framework. There's lots of frameworks out there, but it's one framework that you can use to take that big overarching goal that maybe you have for 2018. I want to grow my business. I want to get really good at marketing, and really break those down into really tangible tactics to help you plan out how you're going to move forward, right, in your business. Then you want to choose the right marketing tactics to attract your perfect client. So we talked about that. Every customer is not your perfect customer. When you've gotten really good at understanding who your customer is, you're going to know where they play. Maybe your customers are on LinkedIn, maybe they're on Pinterest. The same isn't going to be for everyone. Maybe you're really targeting the working professional woman, where maybe you're targeting the stay-at-home mom that is, you know, doing lots of boards or whatever the case might be. So you're going to talk to them in a completely different way, and maybe even on different platforms. So you want to think about that when you're planning your marketing strategy, not just, okay, I need to have a big Pinterest following, but really, is this where my customers are playing? Yes, maybe beauty customers are playing there, but are mine playing there? And then you want to just be consistent in the actions that you take to grow your business. So I'll tell you, when you're thinking about your perfect customer profile, here are 3 questions that you can answer for yourself. Like, what is the big problem that my customers are trying to resolve? And some of this is in the workbook, so you can definitely grab the workbook later as well. What are the results or benefits that they're looking to achieve? Why are they coming to me? What is their life like? What are their habits and personality? What is that all like? I've seen some companies even give their groups of customers, like there's one company, I know, Rent the Runway. They have a prom customer, and then they have the wedding customer, and they have almost completely different identities, and they choose different ways to market to them. The CRM to the prom girl is totally different to the wedding woman who's picking her bridesmaids dresses off of there, right? So you really want to think about your customers in segments and choose tactics that make sense for those different groups of customers. This is just a quick overview of SMART goals. Since I heard a lot of yes, I know that you guys are familiar with SMART goals, but I'll just tell you quickly, it represents specific, so really attaching a number to your goal, not just I want to improve my marketing, but maybe I want X% of growth, or I want on one particular platform versus all of them. So thinking about very specific ways you can grow, you're going to plan better and use better tactics when you get deeper into what it is you want to do. Being measurable, so having metrics attached to what it is you do. Making sure it's achievable. So if you sold 5 products last year, is selling 1 million this year really makes sense. If you have some sort of new deal, if you're about to do lots of a TV show, maybe, but unless you have a real plan for that, it's not likely. So you want to make sure that your goals are achievable and within reason. They're relevant to your business, right? So again, if all your customers are not on LinkedIn, maybe you growing your profile or investing a lot in a LinkedIn strategy isn't really relevant to your business. And then tangible. It results in specific benefits for your company. Growth, dollars, profit. Okay, so there's some examples of SMART goals. I'll skip over that. But in general, when you're thinking about your digital marketing tactic, I think it's important to just ask yourself a few of these questions. Where is my audience spending time online? We know that they're spending time online because we're all doing it on our phones. How much time do I have to devote to digital marketing? So maybe you don't have a lot of resources, right? Actually, a Googler recently said this to me. She said, you can't be the director of operations and also be the one loading the truck. Great quote, right? Something to think about. So maybe you can't do everything. Maybe you say, I'm going to outsource this to an expert. You really need to be thinking about that when you're thinking about your marketing plan. Can you handle it? Can you not handle it? And then the personnel and skills that you have, and do you need training in a particular tactic? If you want training, again, you can come to follow-up workshops with me here at Google or in the community. I'm all over. And you can also, there's lots of other resources out there that you can grow your skills at digital marketing. For those of you that don't have a website, just want to call out, you can get one for free with Google, gybo.com/business. That's on the resource page of the workbook if you grabbed one. And again, anything free, this is one thing I want to hit home. There's some limits to it, right? It's not maybe all perfect, but to have a presence, to get started, to be driving new customers, to learn about you, this could be worth it for you. So think about that. driving traffic to your website. So for those of you who are not checking analytics, a few things I just want to like call out to you as reasons why you should. I had one business owner go through one of my workshops. At this point, in New York City, we've tapped over 2,000 business owners, so I hear lots of great stories. And one of the business owners in my workshop was like, at first it was hard for me to go to analytics because only 5 people were visiting my website every week, or the numbers were so low, it was discouraging. And I just want you to know that no matter how much traffic you have, don't get caught up in like the vanity metrics of how many people are coming. There's still lots to uncover about your website and how you can improve your strategy and marketing through using analytics. And one powerful thing I'll tell you about is looking at where your traffic is coming from. So if you, and this can really inform your digital marketing strategy, if you're finding that a lot of your traffic is coming from, for instance, social, and you've been investing in Facebook ads, which you weren't sure they were effective, but then you see a lot of people are clicking through, you might say, okay, I'll increase my spend. If no one is coming from social and you just spent $50 on a campaign or several campaigns in a row, you might say this isn't really working for me. So there's lots of, and you can also see if they're coming from, maybe you've been linked to in a blog, maybe you meet someone here today who's a blogger and they talk about your piece and you spend an hour on the phone with them. You can start to evaluate your time and see if that's effective, if that's bringing you lots of traffic. So there's lots that you can see in analytics that doesn't just have to do with how many people came, and they can help you make better marketing decisions moving forward to drive more traffic to your site. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is pay-per-click advertising. So this is one way that you can bring new users to your site. And it all starts in that moment where we're thinking about something. We want something, and we want to either go somewhere or do something or buy something. And what do? First thing we do, pull out our phone and go to Google. When I was growing up, search engines were just starting, and there was like Metacrawler, I think Netacrawler, I don't remember, but there were like 4 other ones, and I don't even, Google's on my phone now. So you go to Google, that's where everyone goes. And because of that, this is why pay-per-click advertising might make sense for your business. So what happens is you put in what you're looking for, probably for me like curl cream or something. That's what I'm always looking for, new ways to make my curls flourish. And what will come up is a list of results. Some of them will be organic. We talked about that. That means that that website has invested in search engine optimization. And then the others of them that you might see, and I'm sure you've all seen them, will be labeled ad, right? Okay, if they're labeled ad, they will be at the top of the search results, sometime at the bottom of the search results. And honestly, whatever is compelling, I will click on it, whether it's paid or whether it's organic. Recently, I needed, my dog messed up something on my couch, and I needed a couch cleaner. I clicked on the ad that was paid because it actually offered a discount. And in the organic search results, there was no discount, so I'm going to click on the couch cleaner that has a discount. So if it's compelling, they go to your website. What's important to know is that advertisers, you, the business owner, the blogger, the website owner, you're only paying for actual leads to your website. So this is very different than the social media model of advertising, because in social media, you pay for exposure. So I find this very effective because I, as a business owner, I don't have to pay from people just seeing my business information out there. I pay only if they visit my website. And when you think about mobile, I think it's also really effective because your phone is a very small device. And if you're paying for advertising, you're typically at the top of the fold. So before people have to scroll through 5 different pages, they don't typically do that on the phone. So you can be right there in the forefront of their mind when they're searching for mobile. So when it comes to what is in an ad, just leaving you with this, I want you to think about old school Twitter. Back in the day, like 4 months ago, tweet only had 140 characters. Now, tweets have like 280, and it's like a book, and I can't read Twitter anymore. But back in the day, it only had 140, and that's how much, who here has sent a tweet about their business? Oh, I need to see more hands. Y'all, this is your livelihood. You need to be tweeting about your business every day, all day. Okay. Well, tweet more about your business. Use all 280 characters. But if you send a tweet about your business, then you can write an ad. Because it sounds like it's not a lot, but you can pack a lot of information in there and speak directly to your target audience, especially if you've really done that pre-work to identify who your perfect customer is. So it has 2 headlines that have 30 characters each, 1 description line. The description line has 80 characters, and then a display URL. So if you've ever hyperlinked in an email, like see my photo here, and it goes to the place where your photo is, then you know what a display URL is. It'll show your website, but it can actually go to any page on your website that you want it to go. So I look at it as the headlines and the description are a promise that you're making to your customer. You're telling them you should choose my business because you're really clear on your unique selling proposition. You should choose my business because of X. And then you're saying you're taking them to the page where they can get X. So you're delivering on that promise with that display URL. A best practice is really you want to match. If you're saying order here now, and then you take them to the home page where they can't order, they're going to bounce off your website. They're not going to stay there. So you really want to take them to the page that makes sense. When I clicked on that sofa cleaner, they took me to the 10% discount page, and they came and cleaned my couch. I gave them my money because of it. They really delivered. So that's what you want to think about. Some helpful questions. Again, these are in the workbook, but just to be thinking about, what do you have to offer? What makes your business different? There's something that you put in it that customers are choosing you, or they should choose you over someone else. It could be your credentials, it could be your years of experience, it could be your branding, or maybe it is your social influence, whatever the case might be. You have something different to offer. Think about that. Also think about what you want to accomplish. Where do you want this ad to take them? So that when they're on your website, it hopefully, whatever your goal is, maybe you're building a community, you want them to sign up for your newsletter, maybe you're selling products off your website. Hopefully, you want to move them to whatever the goal you have for your website is that helps you build your income at the end of the day. And then who are your customers? So a common question I have is, I have some customers who are in this segment, some customers are that. Can I speak to them all in the same ad? No, you shouldn't. What makes digital advertising so effective is that you can get really customized with the way you speak to your customer. So if you're feeling like, well, part of my business does this and part of my business does that, then you speak to those 2 different audiences in a different way and attract them to a different site, or a different page on your website maybe, if they're looking for different things. So you really want to hone in, and it's fine. You can run 5, 6 different ads at a time. But if those ads are each speaking to your customers in a really granular, like in that way that they really want to be spoken to, it's going to be way more effective. So just quick question for you. Which ad would you choose? Ad A or ad B? Show of hands for A. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2. Show of hands for B. Yes, okay, B is right. Anyone want to yell out why B is going to be more effective? More information.
Better description.
Custom order. They have a phone number. They're saying call or visit today, and you don't have to like look for the number. It's there. They're telling you what to do. They've thought about their customer. They're in the business of making cakes. Family owned. Woo, I feel like, you know, my heart just is doing something when I hear that. Nashville, I don't have to think about where they are. They're telling me where they are. So if I'm in Knoxville, which is another part of Tennessee, then I don't have to travel there. That's really important. Fabulous. They've thought about language that distinguishes them. And then also, some people think I shouldn't use all my characters. Wrong. You should use all of your characters. You really want to maximize that, because a phone, I didn't bring mine up here, but a phone is so small. So you really want to leverage as much real estate as possible, because people aren't scrolling endlessly on 6 different pages. You want to be in their face. So those are some things I want you to think about. Okay, the last point I'll give to you is how to control where the ad shows up. If you are operating your business locally, this can be really powerful to use a geographic target. So you can have a message that really caters to even, you can go as low as just within 5 miles and just be in a neighborhood and say, I can come to you in an hour or whatever. If you're in if you're doing something that's perhaps a service, that could be really effective. Or if you have a shipping guarantee and you know you can't ship to California in 2 days or next day shipping, but you know you can do it in New York, that could also be really powerful. You can make that a part of the promotion that you reach out to for ads. So it's really exciting. And then the last thing, oh, this is exciting. Okay, so who has not used AdWords or AdWords Express before? Get them hands high, because I can't see. Okay, I have my glasses. Okay, so about half of you, if you are a new user, I can give you $100, a coupon with a $25 spend, so you can set your budget just to trial it at $125, and you can see, first of all, if you don't get $125 of clicks, you're never going to pay that much, right? So you're only paying for clicks. So you could set your budget at $1,000, but if your ad isn't working or if it's not popular for some reason and you only get $50 worth of clicks, it's not like you get charged in advance. No, you only pay for people actually clicking to your website. So it's on you as the business owner to make sure they stay on your website and they hopefully make a transaction or sign up for your newsletter or whatever it is you want them to do. But you only pay if they come to your website. So that's pretty